Hey, this is Kedron Ilphonic, and today I'm going to show you real quick how to do AI bot pathing in Nexuiz. First thing to keep in mind is there's a pretty robust AI system in CryEngine 3. We had to rewrite a lot of that because it wasn't exactly going where we wanted AI for Nexuiz, as far as bots that move fast, pick up items, keep running with the flow of the map, and things like that. So we basically kind of, in a way, we had to dumb it down so it would be a little bit more arcade-like and what you would normally experience in a chaotic environment playing with players. So there's a whole bunch of fancy tools you can use in CryEngine 3, but we don't really get into them too much. It's very simple actually on what you have to do, but at the same time there's something very different that you need to pay attention to. So to get started in placing bot paths in your map, you want to create a new layer and keep this stuff organized. So do something like AI pathing. Make sure you're in that layer and only have that selectable. First object you're going to create, and the roll-up bar on the Objects tab, go into AI and then choose the Navigation modifier. And what this thing is going to do is going to define the area in which bots can run around in your map. Now this thing can be modified and created in a lot of different ways and expanded upon in CryEngine 3, but we're going to use it in a very basic way. So first things first, make sure you're in XY constraints, and let's do a big grid snap setting, and then like drawing a normal shape, click, click. When you're done creating the shape at your last point, just double click. Once you have your shape made, make sure it's covering your entire gameplay space. So you can go into edit shape, click a point and move it around to make sure your level's covered in these things. Keep in mind the Z distance doesn't really matter as long as it's below your map. Okay, now that you have that created, go back into it and click, see its properties. You want to go to this one, this waypoint connections at the second one from the top. Choose that to auto. Now that you have that done, you want to place the AI points themselves. Go back into AI, click AI point, click anywhere, Control Shift click, and you'll see it placed down. Make sure you get your grid snapped down so you can get it in the map area. Okay, what you're seeing right now, this is a very important step. So you see this black ring that's circling the AI point. That shows the radius required for the neighboring AI path node to be linked together. So if you miss the navigation modifier step of this, turning this to auto and by default designer, what you'd see when you click an AI point is you don't see that black circle. So if you're not seeing that black circle, it means because you don't have this navigation modifier, you don't have it set to auto. Okay, once you have one of them created, it's pretty easy. Just copy and paste them. Whenever you're copying, you want to make sure the other points within that black ring. So what you want to kind of do is almost make a grid of zigzagging points across your map where you want the bots to go. Always making sure when you copy and paste that the point you want this to connect to is within that black ring. So whenever you're creating like a second row, don't make them too far away, because keep in mind this is where the bots will actually travel. So it's going to create lines between each one of these points when you build AI, and that's showing the actual floor path the bot will run on. Now whenever you're doing something like a doorway or something like that, it's really important because the bot doesn't know anything about what's going on in the world of collision and stuff like that, at least with this type of system. So keep that in mind. What I generally do is if I have one row and the middle row created, I'll usually just select the beginning row and copy it over and do the same the middle row, just trying to create a pattern, if you will, of explorable space for the bot to travel on. So to quickly show what this is going to do, let's just go ahead and go into AI menu and click generate waypoints. Now you can see all the waypoints are connected by these blue lines. And here's the fun part. This doesn't necessarily mean what the bots are going to see in the engine. So let's go ahead and get this whole map set up so I can show you another important part. So whenever you're dealing with situations like jump pads, for example, it's very important to always make sure you put a jump pad, a node at the base of the jump pad, and our bots will automatically determine if that's a jump pad path node or not. Whenever you're encountering a doorway, it's really important to make sure you're not creating a line that will cause the bot to get stuck on a corner. In order to check this, again, go to AI, generate waypoints, and you see this direct line right here. Now something that's bad could happen is if you create them on both sides of the doorway like that. And you'll have improper paths, and the bot's more than likely going to get stuck on this corner. Even though there's a test to see if these path nodes can see each other, you can still run into this problem a lot. So whenever you encounter a doorway, try to make sure you're doing a very tight, narrow path, and that limits the chances of bots getting stuck on objects in the game world. Just doing a lot of copying and pasting generally works. Just really simple stuff. Now that you see these bot paths created, go ahead and Control S to save, and then Control E to export to engine. You see these bot paths and you think to yourself, that's what the bots are going to use. What actually goes on is because there's jump pads and teleporters and things like that within Nexuiz, we have another bot pathing system that's generated dynamically within the game world itself. Final test if bots are working properly or not has to be done in game. And what you want to be doing is actually checking a certain CVAR we use to test this. The easiest way to get this CVAR up, bring up the console by pressing tilde, double clicking on the console field here, and you'll bring up the console variables list. What you want to type in is easily NEXBOT, and this first thing that shows up, nexbotcore underscore debug underscore show navigation. What you want to do is copy that information, close everything in the editor. Again, always try to make sure you're exporting so you're on the latest one. And yeah, that happens all the time. You can always ignore that if that happens, by the way. Okay, what you want to browse to is inside your Steam directory in Steam Apps Common. Then under Nexuiz, you'll find the CFG file called system.cfg. You can open this in Notepad or whatever you want. Go ahead and open it up. And what you want to do is add this at the bottom of the list. Control V to paste it. You want to do equals 1. And that's that next bot core underscore debug underscore show navigation. By default, it's -1. Go ahead and save that and launch the game like you normally would. Okay, go ahead and start up a bot match and find your map. Once you're in game, what you're seeing on the ground with that CVAR setup is what the bots are actually seeing. So what you always want to do is, even though in the editor all these bot path nodes were connected, you want to go in game and make sure that these path nodes that you see in game are actually connected. And you can actually see that the bots are generating, for example, here on the teleporter, you see this line going up to the teleporter, and they know about these areas and they know they can access them. One more really important technique you want to try to do whenever you're doing bot paths is you can help define, for example, ledges that bots can jump off of if they know that there's a jump pad there or something like that. And you can really help by doing that by just grabbing a bot node and copying it and putting it right on the lip of an edge. And whenever a bot's jumping on the jump pad, they'll see that bot path. And if you're doing this next bot code thing, you can actually, that CVAR, you can actually see that path being generated in real time as the bot uses the jump pad. So make sure you get it in the approximate area on the ledge where the bot will actually land. And you can even further this by linking these waypoints together. For example, the one down here at this jump pad and this one, if you want to almost make an absolute guarantee that the bot knows that they can use this jump pad, just click pick, hold space, and so you can see that AI point and link them, and do that for all your jump pads. And that would really just help solidify that the bot knows that this jump pad will land them right there. Other things you can do to help ensure that bots properly use jump pads is make sure that you raise the position targets high enough above a ledge or something you want the bot to land on, so the dynamic bot pathing will be able to create the proper links in real time.